Hello, hello. It's great to see everyone. Thanks for being here. Welcome to the state capitol. I want to thank everyone for being here today. Today is a big day for Arizona. 3.5 years ago, we were in this very building as I signed historic legislation, the Drought Contingency Plan. That bill was the most significant water policy in 4 decades. It outlined new conservation efforts that we would take to preserve Lake Mead. And it allowed us to sign on to an agreement with other western states and Mexico to help us all contribute to a more secure water future. 40 years before that policy, Governor Bruce Babbitt was in this building when he signed the Groundwater Management Act, another historic water policy. As I said in the State of the State, Arizona has grown and thrived because of the foresight of leaders like Governor Babbitt, Senator Carl Hayden, Senator Barry Goldwater, and Senator John Kyle. Today, we are building on that legacy. Because you see, even after all the actions we've taken to secure Arizona's water future, our job isn't done. We are in the midst of the second decade of the worst drought in recorded history. We continue to experience shortages on the Colorado River, and the forecasts are not getting better. These challenges made it necessary for us to act. So today, we are taking action to do what the men and women of Arizona hired us to do: position our state for success today, tomorrow, and for generations to come. The legislation before us today appropriates a historic $1 billion in the Water Infrastructure Finance Authority, who will work to secure our water future for the next 100 years and beyond. Arizona will now be able to acquire, own, and store new water, and we will invest heavily in conservation, efficiency, reuse, and advanced water technologies like desalination. These actions have the potential to preserve millions of gallons of water every year, and they will protect our Colorado River entitlement. This is crucial for our continued growth and prosperity. It's no secret that industry leaders are moving to and expanding in our state in droves. Names like Taiwan Semi, Intel, Lucid, Nikola, and LG. These businesses have chosen Arizona because of our sensible decisions and conservative policies, and we're grateful to have them. But more businesses and more people means more advanced infrastructure needs, and that means additional action on water. This legislation will ensure Arizona remains a magnet for revolutionary companies, and it will ensure Arizona's many leading industries continue to grow and prosper. Not just manufacturing, but also agriculture, construction, tourism, and hospitality, and so much more. Many critics thought we couldn't get this done. They figured we'd kick the can down the road until next year or the year after. Not in Arizona. They thought we couldn't agree on how to use the funding. Well, I think what you see behind me proves the critics wrong. As we've done over the past 7.5 years, we came together, brought everyone to the table, and delivered for the people of this great state. As Senator Kyle once said, real leadership means tackling tough problems ourselves and not leaving them to our children. There were countless leaders who stepped up to partner and help tackle this challenge, and many of them are here today. For starters, I want to thank Senator Sina Kerr and Representative Gail Griffin for sponsoring this legislation and consistently leading on Arizona's most pressing issues. I also want to thank Senate President Karen Fann, House Speaker Rusty Bowers, leaders Rebecca Rios and Reginald Boulding, Senator Lisa Otondo, and Representative Tim Dunn. It is because of all of your efforts that this passed with overwhelming bipartisan support. I also want to thank Tom Buchatsky, Director of the Department of Water Resources, for his dedication and commitment, along with patience, to securing Arizona's water future. Finally, I want to thank the numerous community partners, business leaders, and elected officials who advocated for this policy. You were all instrumental in this effort. Now I want to turn it over to Senator Sina Kerr to discuss the importance of this legislation. Senator?
I couldn't agree more with Governor Ducey's words this morning. It is an amazing day, a fantastic day for Arizona's water future. What a blessing to be a part of something as monumental as Senate Bill 1740. Arizona's water story is one of facing challenges with resolve, resourcefulness, and a determination that has shaped us into the leaders in water management that we are today. Whether in times of vast flooding or times of unforeseen and extended drought, we all come together to forge solutions for the greater good of our beautiful state. Senate Bill 1740 builds on the work and the solutions of our incredible water leaders of the past. It's that same vision and foresight that will continue to propel us to bigger and bolder solutions in the coming months and years to secure Arizona's water future. My heartfelt gratitude to each and every person who contributed to helping Senate Bill 1740 become a reality. To our staff, our incredible staff, all up and down the line. I see some of our legislative council members here who put in countless hours making sure each and every word was as it should be. And to my colleagues in both chambers and across the aisle for your incredible support and help. The true test of the success of Senate Bill 1740 is yet to be seen. As words on a document come to life and are set into motion, it is my hope and my expectation that Arizona's water story begins a new chapter of success that exceeds our boldest vision. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Senator, and I truly am grateful for your hard work on this issue. Now I want to turn it over to Representative Gail Griffin to share a few words about this critical legislation. Representative?
It's a pleasure to be here, an honor to be here. We've all worked really hard. This is historic legislation, not only for the state of Arizona, but for all water users in the state. This is an action plan. It's just not going to sit on a shelf. We're going to take it and do great things with it. We have funding to bring new water into the state of Arizona. We have funding to address best management practices in our counties and our cities, mountain front recharge projects, water harvesting, storm water recharge projects, potable reuse, efficiencies, different technologies that we continue to learn about and that are available, detention basins. Getting water into the ground is a goal. Funding for conservation measures like landscaping, xeriscape, Replace grass with artificial turf. I did that about 8 years ago, and it still looks great. It's green. The dogs love it. And I don't use any water on it. Different plumbing fixtures and appliances that save water. Rain guttering. It's all of the above. It's not just one project that we want to look at, but all of the above. As many of you know, 95% of the rains that we get evaporates before we can get it into the ground. We want to change that. Let's work together to educate all of us, to include those of us that are standing back here, to better use the water that we have, and at all levels. We can do this. We are doing this. We look forward to working with all of you in making this a success. I want to thank the governor, leadership in both houses, Speaker Bowers, President Fan, the minority leaders as well, the Senate and House members. Senator Kerr and I work very well together, as with the other members. Department of Water Resources, stakeholders, other departments, governor's staff as well, and our staff. If it wasn't for our staff, we would not have been as successful as we have. This is an action plan, as I said. We will be successful. We will implement this historic action plan, and Arizona is open for business. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Janet. Well done. Thank you very much, Representative. I now want to turn the floor over to Senate President Karen Fann to talk about what this means for our communities. President?
Thank you. There is an old saying here in Arizona, whiskey's for drinking and water is for fighting. And we have known this for many, many decades here in Arizona, starting in the very late 1800s, and from then on when we established much of our groundwater rights as well as our surface water rights. This bill could not have happened if it weren't for the amazing team that we have of all three branches working together, the governor's office, the House, and the Senate. We are extremely proud of all the hard work that went into this to make this a great, responsible bill, causing great transparency, keeping track of where all the money is going, how it's being spent, and answering to our constituents. We have set up 3 different funds. There is one that is set up for conservation, $200 million to address conservation to help protect the water that we do have right now. Another almost $200 million to handle short-term goals. That would be things like rainwater harvesting, converting flood irrigation over into drip irrigation. There are so many great things that we can do immediately. And then we have another $800 million to $1 billion that will go towards long-term projects, whether it be a desalination project, whether it would be bringing water in, but that's mostly for new water, to help us cover our future, to help us cover and recharge our aquifers. None of this would have been possible if it wasn't for the great leadership that we have had and the strong economy we have in Arizona. That is what's given us this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to put our money where our mouth is, to be able to spend this money where it needs to be spent, because Arizona is such a strong and great state, and we will keep it that way forever and ever with our legacy that we will be leaving behind us. Again, I'd like to thank Senator Kerr, Representative Griffin, our leaderships on both teams, our members. This was a very hard-fought battle. The stakeholders did an amazing job, and we are grateful to each and every one of them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President Fann. I now want to turn it over to a leader who has consistently prioritized actions to secure Arizona's water future, someone who was a full equity partner in this legislation, and I'm very grateful for him helping steward it over the finish line. Speaker Rusty Bowers.
So here's the story. Years ago, my mom came in the kitchen and Dad was sitting down at the table, and she said, "Wes, where are the boys?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, the boys." 2 days earlier, he had dropped us off up at Sunset Point to do some deer hunting and had kind of forgotten, about his 3 oldest sons. And on your way up that hill, coming up out of Black Canyon City, on the right-hand side after the first big curve, you'll see a cottonwood tree in a little cove in the rocks. The freeway ran over the spring, but we knew where the spring was. And then if you go up to the top and go east, you'll go to Joe's Hill, and that's where we had been hunting. But after we got a deer and Dad didn't show up, and we said, well, we got to figure out what we're going to eat, and thankful we had a deer. And so we went to the spring and the cottonwoods. And when Dad finally got there, it was kind of a fun reunion. But Dad said, "I knew where to go because I've always told you to go where there's deep shade and cool water." And that has been a formative experience throughout my life, going out to Four Peaks and throughout the state with my parents and others, and always looking, where's the water? Where's the water? If things go bad, where's the water? And now our state is in that situation. We have in this room people who've planned for decades for the situation we're in right now, to have good water policies, for good groundwater stewardship and preservation, long-term storage credits, etc. We have prepared and prepared and prepared. And now we're going to have to use that preparation. But now it's also time to conserve what we have, use it correctly, make sure we're technologically perfect for the task, and start augmenting our future water supplies. And I'm grateful to have worked with this marvelous group behind me, especially with our governor and his team, and Karen Fann and the Senate, and our team. I'd like to call out, well, I better not call them out because then the list gets too long. But thank you to all of you. We're in this together and we're moving ahead and we will be successful. So thank you very much, Governor. Very much.
Thank you, Speaker Bowers, again for your leadership. As I said, this bill passed with overwhelming bipartisan support, and that would not have been possible without the support of leaders Rebecca Rios and Reginald Boulding. Senator Rios, will you share a few words about how we got this done?
Thank you all for being here. Today, we are proud of this moment, but recognize that there is still work to be done. Our commitment to securing this state's water future is stronger than ever, and this bill is a testament to the progress we can make as a bipartisan legislative body. Our reliance on a sustainable water supply in Arizona cannot be overstated and is increasingly at risk. This bill gives Arizona the necessary tools to strengthen water infrastructure, conservation efforts, and long-term augmentation. The Water Infrastructure Finance Authority will now also be modernized and expanded to address urgent statewide challenges in a transparent and inclusive way. Our state is confronted with the realities of climate change, an over-allocated Colorado River, and decreasing groundwater level. This bill ultimately creates a financial structure to assist with the diverse needs of both urban and rural Arizona. This is that strong first step so many of my Democratic colleagues have been pushing to achieve for years. Our work will continue, but today we celebrate this signing with every Arizonan. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Now I'm going to turn it over to Representative Boulding to talk about what this means for our entire state. Representative?
First, I want to say thank you, Governor Ducey and friends. It's an honor to be here. And thank you, Speaker Bowers, for recognizing our caucus's values on this historic process. There were many meetings, conversations that happened for months, but standing here today, it was all worth it. Arizona is facing a climate and water crisis that is both immediate and long-term. And the only way we address this crisis of this magnitude is to make sure that everybody is included, that everybody's voice matters. I'm proud of our caucus for sticking together to help ensure this expanded Water Infrastructure Finance Authority is more transparent, more equitably governed, and that is a significant new resources for conservation. But I want to lift up a couple people, in particular who really rose to the challenge. Representative Andres Cano and newly appointed Representative Morgan Abraham. Along with our incredible staff, both were laser focused on making this bill better, and both are absolutely insistent that today is just the beginning. We have so much more work to do to protect Arizona's water future. And as this bill now becomes law, we are particularly excited about the $200 million conservation fund. These resources can be put to work right now, not in a decade. Now to spur innovation and more common sense approaches to conservation in communities all across the state. This includes groundwater recharge, drought-resistant landscaping, watershed protection, and efficiency upgrades. Representative Sarah LaGlory, who is here today, had a great bill this session to incentivize rainwater harvesting systems for homes that will literally pay for themselves in saved water costs for yards and lawns. With this conservation fund, we hope to see these systems everywhere. And because we insisted on it, $20 million from this fund will go directly to tribal communities to assist in their conservation efforts. But again, the most important thing about today is not that this is the end, but it is only the beginning. We will be back, and when we come back, it is important that we keep this coalition together, and we're focused on the work ahead of us. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Representative Bolding. Without further ado, let's sign this bill. Senate Bill 1740, the law of the land, Arizona's water future is secure.